Good morning.
Good
Good
morning,
morning, everybody.
y'all.
Welcome to the Ticker Highlight Show. I am Mark Sebastian. I am your only option. Alicia's having some internet issues, so today's show will be myself, Andrew T. Giovinazzi, our Director of Education, and Hans Albrecht, Master of the Turbo Trade. Now,
I need a gray shirt to wear.
this is tan.
Tan. Well, you and Hans are kind of matched. Hold on, I got an idea.
We went with like a nice basic color.
Okay.
All right. While Andrew's changing clothes, I would like to direct everyone's attention to what's going on today after the close. We are doing our option pit income project, and we'd like you to be there. And the easy way to sign up, it's today at 3:30. It's today at 4:30 Eastern, 3:30 Central. So what we're going to teach you and show you is how Hans, excellent change, Andrew. I like how the hat and the sweater align. There's some pretty nice goodies for those that register, and Hans is going to walk you through how to create income using options in this environment, this crazy environment that has been all over the place for a week while we figured out whether the government was going to open, which it looks like that will, and while we've been basically blind to any economic data. I'm going to be real interested in the economic dump that's going to happen over the next week or two. It could make things exciting. So if you haven't joined, if you haven't signed up to register for Hans and myself and Hannah, and then click the link they're going to post here and join us. Join us at 4:30 p.m. Eastern time. We want to see you there, guys. So yeah, click that link.
It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome, folks. A very nice, holistic way of looking at income with a number of different pieces, and we really address different portfolio sizes. So it's going to be a fantastic event. Don't miss it.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to go through how to create income for someone with $10,000, someone with $50,000, someone with $1 million. Should be really interesting. So make sure you click that link and join us. Ryan has pinned it to the top here. And again, if you're not registered, change that and join us. You get some fun goodies anyway. Speaking of goodies, let's kick it out to our own Andrew Giovinazzi. He and hear what he's got. And folks, welcome for those of you new to the Ticker Highlight Show. Every Monday, we have a meeting of the minds. We come together, look at different trade ideas, and come up with one idea that we like that we're going to trade. And so far, so good. It's been things have been humming along. So, Andrew, let's kick it to you. What have you got for us today?
Let me share my screen for people because I don't think I did that. And let me see here.
What? Ticker highlight.
I know there's definitely some singing there. Okay, we have so my short last week, we could start with the short, was MicroStrategy. It is having a bit of a dead cat bounce today. Again, this is going into the shutdown thing. Everybody was nervous. Everybody is coming for Bitcoin again. However, I put this out, I think, Wednesday or Thursday. We had the dip. It's kind of back to where it was. I think this is another opportunity to short this thing, but it is bouncing hard. So, I mean, MicroStrategy, I think in capital gains, I picked IBIT as my short. instead of MicroStrategy. I would have done much better with MicroStrategy when I first looked at it, because that's the one that always underperforms. So that was not my finest moment. However, let's take a little look-see here. Now, here's one thing with MicroStrategy that I find interesting here. Okay, now let's take a look at, so here's our option volatility. So running around a 6-month high, nowhere near as high as it was last year, but we've got like a little bit higher vols as the stock is kind of making like, I don't know, I almost need Leisha here to be at this level, but I feel like this is kind of a make or break level where they just decide to kick this thing into the into the toilet, because it's essentially it's a giant leveraged Bitcoin train. So, but volatility in here continues to rise. The stock continues to go down. And again, in my view, that's never good for the stock. You'd want to see some volatility. You want to see someone come in and start selling puts, do something that would make you be more, have a little more confidence in what the name is doing. And right now, and I'm going to put on some shorter term vols here. So this was the long-term vol, long-term. And, they're sitting here again, not like in the grand old days here, but it has not spiked. Basically, the stock goes down and volatility keeps climbing up. So it at least in my view, this never is a bullish look for the underlying. That's what I will say. So that's my bearish pick. There's never ever in the history of whatever where you've had massively leveraged products to a financial asset and it's worked out well. It works out great for a while, but it has never, I can't think of any example ever where it actually ends up good for shareholders. I'm just saying it now. I am not long this thing. I am long some IBIT puts, but again, the only reason I didn't buy the MicroStrategy ones because vol was so high, but they would have paid. All right, so there we go on that one. My long stock. Now, this one I don't get. So I liked this last week. It was trading like 26. They hated it after earnings. Now, the stock disappoints in earnings, and it just disappoints by doesn't make as much as the street wants. However, it's full of cash. It's growing in every possible way, up 20%. Their problem, they did the same thing that Facebook did, that Meta did. They said, hey, you know what? We're going to spend a lot of money on AI, and they just sold it. I bought some calls in here. I bought some more stock last week. Option prices, not quite at the low you want, but they're not terrible. They're probably bottom quartile here. I'd like to see them get super cheap for a long-term call buy. But I don't think January, I think there's pretty decent risk reward, and I don't see how the stock doesn't get to 30 by the end of the year. I mean, it makes money. It trades at like a 10 PE, and it's an internet property. It's like, but for now, the street doesn't like it. They'd rather buy stuff that doesn't make any money. Once you start making money, I guess that's a problem. But anyway, this is my, and again, it hit those April lows, and it hit April lows, making higher with revenue growth, earnings growth, everything growing. The only thing is the CEO said, I'm afraid of the furniture market and the tariffs. And we spent a bunch of money on AI and they killed it. So
there you go.
It's a good chance to purchase some. I did buy more stock last week, and I did buy some more calls.
Well, there
Andrew,
you go.
that's a great point about making money, because if you make money, you better make a lot of money. The market's going to like that. But if you don't make any money, then if you don't make any money, then you could be worth anything, right? It's everything's up in the air. I want to make money, but we could make a lot of money. Once you start making a little bit of money, then they go, well, you're just making a little bit of money.
Right. It's so true. It's so
and
true.
Fun fact, folks, Andrew is the only person that has a pin board for chainsaws. Ooh, I want this one from Steel. Ooh, look at this Milwaukee chainsaw.
Do you have a chainsaw calendar, Andrew? Like where you just have like every month there's like a different chainsaw?
I mean, I wish there was, but I don't. I only have 3 chainsaws. So
And
Oh, there you
Jason
go.
from Friday the 13th is like on the cover. He's like,
yeah.
with chainsaw.
Well, and it's funny. I just had to get a new chain today. My son sadly somehow decided to chainsaw the dirt, which is not great for a chain.
No, that's not going to be good for a chain.
No, it's not. But anyway, it happens sometimes. Saw slips, and anyway.
Speaking of chainsaws, let's flip over to our income buzz saw that is Hans Albrecht, who's going to cut through all the noise in the market and share with us his trading ideas. So, Hans, what have you got for us this morning? And
Well,
again,
in
reminder,
Turbo Income,
folks,
we are a buzz saw through turbo trades that are just kind of killing it. We are not a buzz kill, we are a buzz saw, and that's great news in a market like this where the opportunities abound. We did one on Micron just last week. It's already up huge. So, having lots of fun in this stuff. Now, my one to love, I'm going to pivot a little bit from AI here. I'm going to go old school because I just have a love for these guys, but I'm going to pick Ferrari. And Ferrari is, I think, in a world where the rich get richer and scarcity is everything, and it's kind of in a class of its own. They just cannot, they limit supply. And in a world where we're going to see more millionaires and billionaires year after year, month after month, really, I think this remains one of those amazing brands, right? So in a world of AI creating all sorts of nonsense and fake stuff, there will be real things, sports teams and things like Ferrari. So I like it. I like that upper tier is still going to have money. We're still seeing great numbers in the upper tier of spenders, the wealthy, and I think they still go after things like Ferrari. And there's nothing, and you can't just, like Aston Martin not doing as well. Ferrari just always does well. Nothing says I've made it like having a Ferrari. So I love them. And my one to leave, a little bit along the lines of what Andrew said, is IBIT, so Bitcoin, right? So I'm just kind of a little lukewarm on Bitcoin because I think what we've entered into is a sort of different stage of AI and therefore the economy where utility is everything, right? So it's not so much about owning a coin or one of those digital photos like the NFTs, like whatever they call them. Like this is all kind of fluff. It is now about using blockchain for utility, for usefulness, right? Utility just means usefulness. How do we use something to generate revenue to make our lives easier? And for me, blockchain is very interesting, but only in areas where we're actually going to generate some value. And Bitcoin is not really a very good transactional coin. And I think that's why some of the other ones are getting a little bit more attention. So in a world of now utility, which again, Mark, inference is where the gears continue to turn in AI. That means, now we're starting to turn this stuff into value as we're seeing out there with companies. I think IBIT is one to leave, and there are better coins and blockchain plays, Circle, things like that kind of make a little bit more sense as the tokenization of everything happens. You'll see in a few years, you'll see just everything, stocks, everything, every asset will be tokenized at some point for transactional value. And so this is where the rubber hits the road and we actually start to make some useful things. And I'm not so sure Bitcoin is quite there. It might be controversial, but I'm not sure it's that useful.
I'm with you. I think Bitcoin at a minimum is a spot where, you want to do a little bit of profit taking, but there are so many true believers in that thing. It's very hard to short. ETH similar chart path to Bitcoin. You actually brought me around to kind of where I want to go along the whole some of these ideas. I'm looking at Exxon. You're saying Exxon? That is more boring than even Hans's Ferrari idea. At least Ferraris are kind of sexy, right? No, Exxon. I mean, a gas station. Everything's going to be electrified or hydrified or whatever. We're all going nuclear. Why do you like Exxon, Mark? And the answer is their earnings. And I talked about this a little last week, from their earnings report a week ago Friday, they talked about the fact that they can do nat gas plants and power these data centers far more cheaply than small nuclear reactors can right now, and quicker. And they believe they can kind of enter that space. So I think Exxon entering the AI space makes it a more interesting investment. I don't believe the economy is going to fall apart. And, at least not for a little while. I worry about Bitcoin in the stock market right now, and I'm going to explain that, at a later date. But the economy as a whole, I think is not in that bad of a shape. And especially with the stock market still up there, there's a lot of wealth effect for the upper 40% that actually own stocks. And there's a lesson to own stocks. So I'm looking at Exxon as a bull. And then on the bear side, NVIDIA's up $8. Really nice move. I kind of like it too. I don't think this whole NVIDIA circular financing story is over yet. I don't think today is the day to be buying puts on it just about anything. I think we can all be in agreement there. But I think NVIDIA's gotten real long in the tooth. And I would have my levels, folks, where I say I'm hitting the exit and I'll buy a call to protect my upside. So
it's gotten to be pretty competitive, that space, Mark. It's a little, you do have a lot. You've got Google's involved. You've got a lot of companies that are competing now. So
that are coming online. I knew the cycle was going to be longer, but the cycle is happening. You don't get to charge those kind of prices forever. It's just the facts, folks. Imagine if, the Blackwell chip was a carburetor and NVIDIA made the world's best carburetor. And they had the only carburetor that any sports car would want. And yes, I'm aware cars have not had carburetors for about 40 years, but I'm just making a point.
I'm not aware of that.
Oh yeah.
I know that's in small engines.
Yeah. So imagine that, there's this special car part. It would take the auto companies about 6 months to a year to basically have multiple competitors out. The life cycle for a chip is more like 2-3 years, and we are catching the end of that, and we're at the end of that life cycle. There's going to be a lot of competition online at a time where, I think all these are going to come online just as the data center market collapses. And when I say collapse, I don't mean I mean more of a demand collapse. Will be kind of built out. Hans, I really like your Ferrari idea. There's a couple ideas that I like there. One, it's kind of tariff proof. And you're saying people are going to pay more. You know what? If you're buying a $250,000 car and it's $265,000 now, guess what? You're buying a $265,000 car. It just, the people buying Ferraris are kind of tariff proof. And, all the kind of crazy selling that happened in October, kind of a surprise. They did have earnings. I like that it's kind of found a floor off those earnings and continues to rally. Now it's $412, but for an expensive stock, the option premiums are not bad. You're paying, $12 for that. The issue is I don't know that I love buying a $1,200 call. But I really do love the race car idea and or the Ferrari idea. Race car spelled backwards spells race car. But And I just think that's a little expensive for us, but I would be looking at the December 12 calls. Andrew's hate of MSTR, I am on board with, but again, I don't think today is the day to be shorting stocks. So I'm going to, with XOM premiums at 21.5, the stock trading 116, catching a little downdrift today, option premiums really low. Get a little more flexibility on when we want to pick our trade because this has weeklies.
I like your XOM idea, Mark.
Thank you.
We had it. We were long a strangle in rip zone. We sold the call when it popped, and just on the drop today, I'm dumped the puts because I don't think it's going to see a whole lot more downside.
Yeah. So I'm looking at the December 5th 117 call. That's going to cost me less than $1.95. I am targeting at least 120 on this stock. And I think that is going to pay me. You know what? It's going to pay you for sure. Spending the time to join Hans, myself, and Hannah tonight at 4:30 Eastern Time, 3:30 Central. So and again, we're gonna do the income project. You're gonna get a really cool worksheet to work with. You're gonna learn a ton. And Hans you never walk away from Hans without some ideas as well. So you'll want to be there. You can click the link in chat that Ryan has posted to the top. And I am going to put this trade into our portfolio. Again, this is the ExxonMobil XOM 117 calls. What was that?
That's some value add right there, baby. I like it. Drum roll, please.
I like your line, Andrew. Hans is incoming.
Incoming.
Hans' strategy is incoming. Yeah, folks, it's going to be great. You don't have to be able to afford a Ferrari to be able to do income well. And I've managed $1 billion in option strategies. And you do not have to be a billionaire to do this well.
No, he has done phenomenally well, everybody, by the way.
Yeah.
You got to check it out.
You got to check it out.
He's big braining his his ETF managing or fund managing to retail, which is what you come here for. You come to Option Pit because everybody's been a professional trader. We're taking all the goodies and tricks that we learned and turn it into retail trading venue. So that's it's a great opportunity, and I'm going to be there tomorrow, not today, but tomorrow, to walk over a couple things with him. He really is, and by the way, Hans has stayed bullish when everybody else has been wetting their pants, buying calls, running the turbo trades, running the strategy when everybody was whining and groaning how ugly it was.
Yes.
All he did was rack up killer trades.
Hans is highly detailed and methodical in grabbing income trades. Hugely successful thus far. That's great. Hans has me doing everything right. I love that. Made good money from him. There you have it, folks. All right. Well, folks, we are the trade has been posted. We have gone through our process. We'll be back tomorrow to go through state of the market, as we are every single day at 10 a.m. Eastern time. And you can join us next Monday for the Ticker Highlight Show. So for our own Hans J. Albrecht, your overlord of income, and of course, Andrew T. Giovinazzi, T for Too Much Fun. I am Mark Sebastian. I am your only option. I hope join Hans today, 4:30. See you then.
Have a good day, everybody.